Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'll say my name again. Erin, it's not you. It's you can blame my parents. It's Alia El-Bermani. And first of all, I just want to say thank you to American Women Artists for hosting this very impressive Symposium of Women in the Arts. And I'd also especially like to, I don't see her right now, but thank Leah Lopez, one of the board members who initially reached out to me, as well as Kathy Lemke-Waste and Diane Swanson for your tireless effort in organizing this event. I'm very honored to be here today to speak with you about Women Painting Women, which is a humble project that continues to far surpass any of our expectations. I'll start out with, and mostly focus on actually, how Women Painting Women, the blog, came about. And others are now calling it a movement. And then I'll briefly share with you some thoughts and images from the exhibition, Women Painting Women in Earnest, which is our largest exhibition, and it will be a traveling exhibition in 2017. I should start out by saying that primarily I am a figurative painter. So branching out into the curatorial role is new for me. I studied at Laguna College of Art and Design and graduated there in 2000. And it was at a time when figurative painting really wasn't as popular as it is now. I did enjoy a healthy career there in California, in their supportive figurative art scene, however. But in 2009, my family and I moved to North Carolina, and for the first time, I felt kind of lost in my career. The support for figurative art in Raleigh, North Carolina at that time was practically non-existent. And further, the culture shock of moving to the South was really difficult for this Yankee. It made it hard for me to connect with the people and therefore want to paint them. And at the same time, it was when I first discovered blogs and Facebook. And I used the internet to start building my own sense of community again. It was on the internet that I discovered a San Francisco-based realist named Sadie Valeri and her blog. Now, I followed her blog because I really admired her writing and her forthrightness about the struggles to gain skill and traction within the art world. And it was on her blog one day in March of 2009 that she shared her dismay about an exhibition which was held at Sotheby's. It was simply titled Women, and yet not a single female artist was included. And further, the entire collection of works were salacious. They were women as the object of desire. Nothing really new there, right? So in the comments section of her blog that day, I planted an idea. I stated there that I would like to see and to organize an exhibition of women artists as well as women as the subject. And this would possibly share a different perspective than the typical women of the object of desire role. We further spoke through private email and offline, where I proposed the title of the exhibition be Women Painting Women. And in her wisdom, Sadie saw the impermanence of an exhibition that would come, maybe garner some recognition, but then go. So she quickly reserved the website womenpaintingwomen.com and started using Blogger to collect images of living female artists that are painting women in a respectful way, a non-objectified way. Quickly, the blog's popularity grew, and the amount of suggested artists became too cumbersome for one individual to post, so Sadie enlisted my help as well as fellow artist friend Diane Feisel. Here you see the very first post on womenpaintingwomen.com. It's a self-portrait by Kate Lehman. And today the format of the blog remains exactly the same, where we post a single image of the artist's work, the pertinent information below it, such as the title, the medium, and just below that, a link to the artist's website. This clean presentation makes it clear that the work does not need description. It does not need to be defended. The work stands on its own, its power and relevance clear and undeniable. And yet, even though we've now been doing this for over 7 years, we still find incredible figurative artists who we've never heard of. So there's still a need. Every image that we posted on the blog is to us a great example of how you can present a woman in a respectful and varied way to share the sometimes complex experience it is to be a woman. With our different art backgrounds, Sadie, Diane, and I have brought a slightly varied aesthetic to the blog, but we continue to keep quality of the work the utmost requirement. With now over 400 incredible painters posted on the blog, it's become a vital online resource for collectors, artists, dealers, and students. Here you see us 3 co-founders, myself on the left, Diane in the middle, and Sadie Valeri on the right. We really had no idea how popular Women Painting Women would become. I think it's a combination of just great timing and filling a need. That same year, we saw historic events, such as a record number of Nobel Prize awards given to women, 5 to be exact. 2 in medicine, and then 1 in economics, literature, and chemistry. We also witnessed Justice Sonia Sotomayor's confirmation to the Supreme Court, and our first African-American president, a strong advocate for women, was inaugurated in January that year, and he quickly signed the Lilly Ledbetter Fair Pay Act into law. It was a sort of tipping point in our culture where women's equality was becoming front page news. And in our small corner of the art world, Women Painting Women was filling a need for garnering recognition for artists that for far too long had gone overlooked. Early in the blog's success, we were approached by a gallery named Robert Lang Studios. This is a premier gallery in Charleston, South Carolina. They asked if we would help them launch the first ever Women Painting Women exhibition. This show featured over 50 women artists from both the United States as well as abroad. It was such a powerful collection of works that we often saw viewers standing in awe and sometimes even in tears. For myself, this exhibition is still the best physical example of the power and aesthetic of the blog. It shared such reverence for the subject and through so many varied approaches told our stories seen through our eyes. This exhibition garnered an amazing amount of press. It was featured in local papers magazines such as Charleston City Paper and Charleston Art Magazine, but also Women Painting Women for the first time was written about and featured articles in national art magazines such as American Art Collector, seen here. We were even given a cover of a magazine titled Artsy Magazine, as well as a beautiful featured article inside. Here you see Adrienne Stein's beautiful diptych painting titled Universal Mother. And inside, Elizabeth Jackson of Artsy Magazine described the show as follows. To see this show is to live more than the female experience. The psychological complexity of the portraits, the emotional intensity, and the humor all are fundamental aspects of what it is to be human. The view here is sensitive and compellingly complicated. Wow, what a great quote. Now here I will share with you a few images from the installation of the exhibition. Robert Lang Studios, again, is a beautiful gallery. I think it was originally a carriage house, converted in. A lot of the exposed brick and woodwork still remains. It's right on Queen Street, if you know Charleston. Here, the 2 oval paintings are by Jennifer Nairbass, and in the middle is Lee Price's Cherry Cheesecake, and then Mia Bergeron's 2 works on the right. Here's pulled back so you can see the entire room a little bit. And then here you see Mia Bergeron's work on the left, Terry Strickland's 2 works on the brick wall in the middle, and then 3 watercolors by Ali Kavanaugh. Again, these are all contemporary living painters. Next to Ali Kavanaugh's work, we have works by Haley Hasler, a small work by June Glasson, a Joyce Pollins, and then 2 Sandra Floods. And a little bit closer view of those last 3 paintings. And then stepping back again, we have 2 of my own works on the left. And again, you see Mia Bergeron and Terry Strickland's work in the back. And now if I turn around the wall behind, we have works by Carrie Brooks and Stanka Kordic and Karen Kapke. Are these names familiar to any of you? Yeah, great. And on the glass there, this is an artist from the Netherlands named Lik Schoot, 2 self-portraits. And then the beautiful standing figure by Catherine Prescott, Pennsylvania artist. And again, that Universal Mother by Adrienne Stein on the title wall, with a self-portrait by Jennifer Balkin in the back, and then Stephanie Tews and 2 works by Sharon Nettle. And I have another view of that wall with Stephanie Tews, 2 pastel paintings by Sharon Nettle, then 3 small Jessica Dunnigans, and a small painting on the door there by Sarah Scribner. And we have Italian artist Francesca Maserati on the left, with 2 Jennifer Present works in the middle, and then 1 last Jennifer Nirbas on the right. And in this little nook, we have a Sarah Scribner, a Tiffany Sage, Amy Lynn's circus piece there, next to Shannon Runquist, a Carrie Brooks, and then Rachel Constantine's slightly cropped portrait there, apologetic about that. And this is the last image I'll share from this inaugural exhibition. On that middle wall, you have a painting from left to right. You have a painting of Sadie Valeri, next to a Scottish artist, Stephanie Rue, and we'll hear a little bit about her later. And on the far left of that wall are 2 works by Diane Feisal, the other co-founder. And because this was such a large exhibition, I haven't shared with you the entire oeuvre of work, but here are the names of all 54 artists that were included. Now, to coincide with the opening of this inaugural exhibition, we coordinated a week-long painting retreat on Sullivan's Island, which is not far from Charleston. There were a dozen artists that were invited, and the way we coordinated that was us 3 co-founders invited 3 artists that were already included into the exhibition. They invited 3 artists, and so on, until we had a dozen. So there was this kind of pay-it-forward, organic way of growing the group instead of us picking all 12. During this week, we stayed in a beautiful beach home on Sullivan's Island and hired local models to pose both at that home as well as various locations around the area, such as former plantations and even gorgeous old cemeteries. And here is our motley crew. So for the most part, we were all strangers to one another. I'll quickly say the names from the back to front. We have Kate Stone on the left with Sadie Valeri, Catherine Prescott, and then in front of her is the then director of Robert Lang Studios, Carrie Schwab, with Robert Lang behind her, and Cindy Procius, Megan Lang, Linda Tracy Brandon, Diane Feisal. And then in the front row on the left is Alexandra Ting, myself, Terry Strickland, Mia Bergeron, Rachel Constantine, and Stephanie Tews. And I say these names, maybe perhaps it's a little boring, but our main focus with Women Painting Women is to gain recognition for artists. So if I don't connect their names with their image, I feel like I'm not doing my job. Let me share with you an image of the house that we stayed in. So in organizing this painting retreat with essentially 12 strangers, we did have some reservations. We thought, what could go wrong with 12 women? sharing 5 bedrooms and only 4 bathrooms. And yes, some of us did have to share even beds together. But thankfully, we need not have worried. Quickly, the act of painting together congealed the group. Here is the morning directly after the opening reception, and we pushed the couches aside and converted the living room to an art studio and had a model arrive at 9 o'clock that morning, and we were ready to paint. Here's another view of us at work. And we took the group to Magnolia Plantation, Magnolia Gardens. Have any of you been to Charleston and know that amazing estate? We also brought a model with us, and so here you see Stephanie Tews in the foreground, as well as Kathy Prescott painting the model at Magnolia Gardens. And here's Linda Tracy Brandon painting one of the beautiful ponds. We were also invited to paint at the home of a local artist, Shannon Runquist. And here you see we posed a model on her covered back porch. Now, Shannon was really key in helping Diane and I scout out locations and connect with the local models. And she even threw us the most amazing low country oyster roast at her home. Talk about Southern hospitality. We then took the group to a historic cemetery titled Magnolia Cemetery, which is the oldest public cemetery in Charleston, and it was founded in 1849 on the banks of the Cooper River. It features an incredible amount of beautiful mid-19th century ironwork, as well as funerary art pieces and impressive mausoleums. And originally we had hired a model to come with us and meet us there to paint the model in this setting. When we all got there, we realized that there was just already enough information, enough inspiration. So here you see Kathy Prescott at work on the left, and Diane Feisel over a bridge over one of the lakes at the cemetery. We saw alligators that day too. That was kind of exciting. And Catherine Prescott at work at the cemetery. And Alexandra Ting. Do any of you know Alexandra? Lovely. And here is Terry Strickland's setup. And one last painting from the cemetery. This is Cindy Procius at work, painting one of those funerary sculptures of, unfortunately, an infant's grave. And of course, we did a lot of painting right off the back porch of our beautiful beach home. This home really did become our sanctuary, our retreat. Here you see myself painting off the north porch, which was very conveniently right off the kitchen. And here's Rachel Constantine painting off the south porch. Now, through the act of cooking together every night and eating and cleaning and painting and painting and painting some more, we all grew quite close. I'm going to read you a quote from Kate Stone. She said, "Being an artist is a solitary profession, and when I was invited to participate in the expedition in South Carolina, I had already accepted that isolation that comes with the studio. Once in South Carolina, I did not expect to develop such a profound sense of camaraderie with a group of artists I had never met before." And we really all did feel that sense of camaraderie. With ages ranging from 20-something through 70-something, there was always that commonality in our love for art. We shared so many stories and experiences about this crazy business. This week-long painting retreat was such a huge success. We now all had a dozen new close friends and allies in the art world, and we continue to stay in touch through a private group on Facebook, where even more conversations about navigating this business and cheers of support were offered. We also realized that we had done so many paintings that week on Sullivan's Island. It only seemed natural for us to put together an exhibition of the work created during that retreat, as well as work after that was inspired by that trip, which led to our second Women Painting Women exhibition, which was titled The Expedition and Beyond, and was held at Principal Gallery in Alexandria, Virginia in 2012. Here again, I will take you through kind of a tour of that exhibition. Many of us painted ourselves, as seen here on the right, Mia Bergeron's self-portrait, or we painted each other, such as in Terry Strickland's beautiful painting of us three co-founders, titled The Three Fates, which hangs over the fireplace there. I wanted to give you a better image of that painting. Terry Strickland's Three Fates, where she used us three co-founders as the three ancient Greek sisters who spin, cut, or measure the thread of life for each person. Here she has us measuring out a roll of canvas, symbolically helping to decide the fate for women artists of today. She also incorporated personal items within each portrait. So for example, if you look on Diane's wrist, there's a cat cameo bracelet. And Diane had been painting what she called her fabrication series, which included a lot of animal portraits. And then on Sadie Valeri, she has a wax paper ruff around her neck, and that mimics her own use of wax paper in her still life paintings. And then for me, at the time, I was painting a series which I had titled Southern Weeds. Again, not connecting to the people, so I turned to the plants. And Terry cleverly painted those weeds in my hair. The many layers of symbolism and metaphor are beautifully woven together in this painting. Then next to that painting is my portrait of Diane with Kitten, and then her painting of Rachel, titled Where the Land Meets the Sea, on the left. And over the fireplace, we have Stephanie Tu's work, next to a painting titled Northern Interior by Catherine Prescott, which is actually a painting of Kate Stone. So again, you see we're using each other and ourselves as our models. Then my painting in the foreground, titled Becoming, and with Rachel Constantine's self-portrait in the back. And it's titled Self-Portrait with a Man, which is kind of a nice change. And then in the middle, Sadie Valeri's self-portrait on that wall, skinny wall there, with Cindy Procius's beautiful oysters on the table. Then here, I'll quickly go through from left to right. We have Cindy Procius, Mia Bergeron, a Tondo by Linda Tracy Brandon, and Kathy Prescott's Deer. And then another Tondo by Linda Tracy Brandon, which is of Mia Bergeron. In the middle, a Kate Stone painting next to Sadie Valeri's work on the right, and there you can see her wax paper. And Alexandra Ting's work in the middle next to Rachel Constantine's beautiful large painting titled Departure Arrival, about the loss of her father. And then, of course, the many works that we painted, the smaller works that we painted while on location. And just a few more here. We have Stephanie Tu's painting titled Embrace. And lastly, Alexandra Ting's painting of her friend titled Hot Enough. Now, as we were coordinating this exhibition, it happened that one of the member artists, Terry Strickland, also happened to be starting her own venture with her family, which is a publishing company titled Matter Deep Publishing. So her daughter decided to design a beautiful catalog for the exhibition, which includes every painting in the exhibition, as well as quotes from all the artists about the experience of the retreat. All of this catalog, as well as all the subsequent catalogs, are still available through matterdeeppublishing.com. And I will say that the co-founders of Women Painting Women do not accept any money at all. So this is all through them. I want to make that clear. We have never made a cent on any of our efforts. Again, this exhibition, we were very fortunate to receive a lot of press And here you see another featured article by American art collector. And then here was the group that was able to make it to that opening. I think only Kate Stone from Canada was missing. So at this point, Women Painting Women has really become a topic of great discussion. The blog continues to grow and continues to gain recognition for more women artists, and through the internet just get more and more popular. Artists and collectors alike were really beginning to follow along. And it was in 2013 where I think we first heard of Women Painting Women being called a sort of movement within the art world. We then knew that our next exhibition had to really go above and beyond all of our previous efforts. We also really wanted to get away from the idea that Women Painting Women was only about promoting a small group of self-serving artists. We had heard that criticism in regards to the 2012 exhibition titled The Expedition and Beyond about that retreat, and it was only for those 12 artists that had gone on the expedition. So we therefore asked each artist from the previous exhibition to invite one artist, again, in a sense, paying forward their good fortune, to exhibit alongside us in the next Principal Gallery exhibition, which we titled Women Painting Women Revolution, or you could read it, Women Painting Women, Our Evolution. And this exhibition was held in the fall of 2013. Above all, we wanted to continue to expand the variety and visibility for the incredible figurative painters who happen to be female, but who are painting today. We also came up with the idea of creating multiple exhibitions across the country, which would run concurrently. We therefore set up a call to action on the blog, challenging other galleries to host Women Painting Women exhibitions in the fall of 2013. All in all, 6 venues took up the call, including a gallery in Glasgow, Scotland. Now, some of these venues hosted international juried exhibitions, while others put together exhibitions of works from the artists already within their staple. Alternatively, some artists, such as the New Jersey group, do we have any New Jersey artists here today? Yay. They banded together and found a suitable venue to host their own Women Painting Women exhibition of just New Jersey artists. By giving the venues the flexibility to design the exhibitions that best suited their needs, we opened the door for even more women artists to gain exposure. And with all of these galleries sending out press releases, again, we were fortunate and got a lot of press. Here you see the cover of American Art Collector's September 2013 issue, which features Andrea Couch's beautiful painting titled Nocturne, which was in Richard J. D'Amato Gallery's Women Painting Women exhibition. And inside, writer Rochelle Belcito wrote a very comprehensive article about all 6 exhibitions. So these works are from all of the galleries, not just one. And I'll quickly share with you, I won't give you tours, I think it would take up too much time, but I'll quickly share with you some images from each of those exhibitions. We'll start with the Principal Gallery exhibition at Alexandria, Virginia, Women Painting Women Revolution. So here's kind of an overall shot. And the other wall. And during the opening reception, you can see a few more wonderful pieces in there. And you can also see our Women Painting Women family has grown quite a bit. There were 32 artists included in this exhibition. And again, Matter Deep Publishing created another beautiful exhibition catalog. This one happened to feature a detail shot of my painting titled Rising Tide. And here are all the artist names that were included. This exhibition was also featured in Fine Art Connoisseur magazine. It was written in an article by Nancy B. Miller, And for the most part, this article shared a lot of praise for all of Women Painting Women's efforts, with a few caveats regarding this particular show. She felt that too many of the works fell into the women as eye candy category, or women as decoration with crowns of flowers and not much concept beyond pretty. And her other fair criticism was that there was not enough diversity in depictions of ages or races. With a few exceptions, as seen here in Alexandria Ting's painting on the far right, titled The Grandmothers, or Terry Strickland's painting on the bottom there of Self-Portrait with Beard, honoring Van Gogh. Or perhaps on the bottom, we have Lee Coley White's painting titled Connie. American Arts Quarterly magazine also featured this exhibition, and here you see Sadie Valeri's self-portrait at 41 in the studio with dog, it's a long title, on their fall 2013 cover. And inside, Gail Leggio, who unfortunately has passed away, wrote a wonderful article about this exhibition. Now, do you all know American Arts Quarterly? Yeah, if you do not know American Arts Quarterly, you really should look them up. It's a free quarterly magazine where some of the most insightful writing is offered, and on topics that we would appreciate. Now, I'll give you a few quotes from that article by Gail. While these artists refuse to pigeonhole their models in stereotypical roles, they relish exploring the persona of inherited iconography. I think I just read you the wrong quote. My apologies. While the Women Painting Women enterprise could be fairly described as feminist, these artists make no strident political statements, nor do they propose abandoning the history or craft of traditional painting as irretrievably tainted by inequalities. They find plenty of opportunities for originality and honesty in figurative painting. While these artists refuse to pigeonhole their models into stereotypical roles, they relish exploring the persona of inherited iconography. There we go. My apologies. And just a few images from the Haynes Gallery exhibition. Gary Haynes titled his exhibition after Virginia Woolf's famous essay, A Room of One's Own. And his gallery is in Nashville, Tennessee. Here you see the title wall with Candace Bohannon's painting titled Grace underneath. And on the left you have Angela Cunningham with her drawing. And then on the right, you see Linda Lee Nelson's painting titled Salon in the middle. Now, this was the first exhibition that the gallery included drawings, and that was something new that Women Painting Women, the blog, had never done. And then also he as well as Richard J. D'Amato, included photography. And we had to bend with that. We had opened the door. Here's just an advertising piece. And then a quote by Gary Haynes. They are helping redefine the feminine influence and muse in contemporary art, something that historically was defined by male artists, and they continually produce insightful and novel work. And his exhibition, too, got a lot of press. This is an article in Nashville Arts Magazine by Kate Dunlop. Also in Tennessee, there is a wonderful atelier named Townsend Atelier, and they hosted their own international juried exhibition, Women Painting Women Revolution 2013. And here you see their catalog cover. And the 34 artists that were included in that exhibition. They were artists from the Netherlands and Spain and Canada, as well as, of course, all over the United States. And then for the very exciting exhibition in Glasgow, Scotland. Women Painting Women UK was coordinated by that Scottish artist Stephanie Rue, who I pointed out earlier. She invited 11 artists to exhibit alongside her, and they are all listed there on the bottom. And they too put together their own exhibition catalog. They used Blurb. So if you're interested, the link is there on the bottom, but you could also go to blurb.com and type in Women Painting Women UK and be able to find their exhibition catalog. Now, Richard J. D'Amato had seen the inaugural Women Painting Women exhibition at Robert Lang Studios in Charleston back in 2010. And he immediately knew he wanted to host his own Women Painting Women exhibition. He was quoted in that American Art Collector article written by Rochelle Belcito about the exhibition, saying, "It's chilling and takes your breath away to see a room full of artwork from women painting women." And so I'll share with you a few images. Here is an advertising piece featuring Terry Strickland's painting titled Primavera, along with the 30 artists that were included in his juried exhibition. And a few installation shots. We have Teresa Elliott's work, and then I'm going to not be able to say this name correctly, so payback. Zala Zhang, and then Isabella Oliveras and Andrea Couch on the far right. We have on the left Victoria Selbach's work with two works by Ingrid Kaposi Flynn and a work by Pam Hawkes and the large painting by Adrian Stein. And then the artists that were able to make that exhibition. Just a few more of the works included. Here are two works by Haley Hasler. Again, that Victoria Selbach on the left, with a beautiful painting by Erin Anderson in the middle titled Aspects of Self. And then a large painting by Elaine Despin titled Presence Emerging, Marie. And again, Terry Strickland's Primavera and Victoria Novak's Velvet. Now, this was Richard J. D'Amato's first Women Painting Women exhibition, and in just a few weeks, he will be opening up his fourth Women Painting Women exhibition. So if you're anywhere near Sag Harbor, you can visit. It's, I believe, October. And now for the New Jersey exhibition. I just have a very few from that exhibition. First, an installation shot, and then the very happy artists. We then, in April of 2014, got the cover of the Artist magazine. And this wasn't related to any particular show. It was a wonderful, comprehensive article which was written by Luis Hafish. Luis really dug into the history of women painting women and gave a clear overview of all that Women Painting Women had accomplished. Here again, you see Terry Strickland's painting titled Primavera. And then inside, this is Alexandra Ting's painting of her friend titled Year at Sea. So we're still using ourselves and our friends. And just a few more from that comprehensive article. And then 2014, hard to believe, but we celebrated our 5-year anniversary. And at this point, Principal Gallery had now opened up their second gallery space in Charleston. So we headed back to Charleston. They hosted our 5-year anniversary, which was a juried exhibition. And I'll share with you a few images from their beautiful new gallery in Charleston. We took over the entire space. There are 3 large rooms. Am I going too fast? Yes? I'm sorry. Just a few more. And again, you can see our Women Painting Women family has really grown. These are just the artists that were able to make it to the opening reception. So by this point, I think we've I can't even come up with a number for how many artists we've touched. There was also, again, another exhibition catalog that was created. This is Spanish artist Carmen Mencia's painting titled Myself. Now, as the Women Painting Women's 5th anniversary exhibition was running in the Principal Gallery's fairly new Charleston location, we had also coordinated a concurrent exhibition in their Alexandria, Virginia gallery, which we titled Pay It Forward. Again, the idea of this exhibition was to further expand the wealth and vision of women painting women. Now, pay it forward is the notion that by extending your good fortune to others, you can create a kind of ripple effect that perpetuates throughout the world. Amelia Earhart said, "A single act of kindness throws out roots in all directions, and the roots spring up and make new trees." This group of artists really wished to continue to pay forward the positive outcomes from the association with Women Painting Women. What started as a singular blog has turned into an international movement and has garnered recognition and exposure for all the artists involved. We, the founders of Women Painting Women, continually want to push forward our altruistic ideals of the group. And with this in mind, the idea for the exhibition that celebrates that ripple effect of kindness was born. The exhibition contained multiple layers of the idea of pay it forward. First off, many of the artists that had previously been exhibited in the Women Painting Women exhibitions at Principal Gallery invited another artist to take their place. This further expanded recognition for even more artists and also the many varied representational artworks that were being created today. Another aspect of this exhibition was for every sale, 10% was donated to the charity of the collector's choice, from a choice of 5 nonprofit organizations. And in this way, we hoped to further engage the collector as a participant in the act of paying forward. So here you see the exhibition catalog featuring Mia Bergeron's self-portrait, the 28 artists that were included in that exhibition, and the 5 charities that were chosen that the collectors could choose to donate 10% of the proceeds. And they weren't just arts organizations. They were women and children's shelters, of course the National Museum for Women in the Arts, and others, animal interests. And here are a few works from that exhibition. The top left painting is by Angela Cunningham. The bottom left is by Felicia Forte. In the middle is a beautiful pastel painting by Alan Eagle. Top right is Kate Wolfgang Savage's self-portrait. And then on the bottom is Sarah Jane Dobenstein. So a lot of crossover with American women artists, with some of the artists being featured. Shortly after that, I was contacted by a Texas artist, Felice House. She is, somebody knows her?
Nancy was in that show.
Yeah.
And the Sag Harbor show as well.
Yep. And Felice is a professor at Texas A&M, and she's a Massachusetts native, as am I, and I think there's something very industrious about us Yankees. She reached out and wanted to host her own Women Painting Women Texas exhibition. Speaking with her, it was just a breath of fresh air. She really reinvigorated me. Back in the article by Louisa Fish, I had stated, she asked what our future goals were. And I said, my pie-in-the-sky dream would be to have a concurrent running museum exhibitions. And Felice made me believe that could happen. And I just can't thank her enough for how much support and love she's given to Women Painting Women. I have a few images from that exhibition. Oh, goodness. Okay. Well,
so sorry.
Here you see Melissa Grimes' work on the left and Anna Rose Bain's painting The Weight and the Reward on the right. And then works by Karen Offey and Nansa Boring. And Felice also, in all of her enterprise, took a portion of the exhibition to the Texas Conference for Women. Again, recently I was contacted by an artist in Australia, and we now have, this year, an exhibition featured at the Beringa Cultural Center in Australia. Here you see Australian artist Avril Thomas with her work, and Sally Ryan with the hat on with her work, and the artists that were included in that exhibition. And up currently right now at the Clarksville Museum, at the Customs House Museum in Clarksville, Tennessee, is a Women Painting Women exhibition. This is their fourth again. This is Ann Piper's work titled Camouflage, and the artists included in that exhibition. I just wanted to share with you kind of a timeline of all that Women Painting Women had accomplished up to now, starting with the blog's formation in 2009 and all of the exhibitions and press that we've garnered. And now quickly, I'll give you an overview of the traveling museum exhibition that we've been working on for 2017. It was curated by Diane and myself, but really the coordination of the entire traveling aspect I've been taking on myself. And if you will indulge me, I will read you the curator's statement, which isn't too long. Women Painting Women in Earnest is an exhibition that honors the human spirit and shares the thoughtful and unique vision of 32 artists who explore the complexity of being a woman today. Each artist looks beyond the surface of her subject each artist looks beyond the surface of her subject, beyond mere replication of the physical world before her, in search of deeper realities. The artists have found a freedom to avoid voyeuristic depictions of the female form, to examine honest and sometimes personal narratives about the struggles and resilience of the indomitable contemporary woman. With a sincere conviction to their craft, these artists raise such ideas as role association and identity, fragility with dignity, and emotional complexity to engage the viewer. Our hope as curators is that this exhibition will elicit an emotional response or an unexpected connection that grants access to greater depth of experience for both the artist and the viewer. As a noun, the word earnest can mean a promise of what is to come. Indeed, these artists serve as bellwethers at a time in history when women have the freedom to define how we see ourselves. And here are the 32 artists that are included in that exhibition. This exhibition has over 70 works, and I will not share them all with you today. But I will say, I think I have about 10, and I'll quickly go through them. Here.
We really are gonna have to wrap up in about a minute because we have other speakers. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Well, we have Ellen Cooper's work, Sylvia Mayer's Tabitha from her Poignant Currency series, which honors the mothers of police shooting victims, Gabriel Gonzalez de Loso's Ruffled Swim Cap, Alea Chapin's The Three Graces, Ellen Eagle's Pigeon Glancing, which is a tiny, beautiful jewel of pastel, Karen Offit's painting titled Megan, Terry Strickland's The Seamstress, where her hero is defining her own outlook, and lastly, Margaret Boland's Isn't It Romantic? And here's an overview of where those exhibitions will travel. Now, Women Painting Women has been more rewarding than I could have ever dreamed possible. What started off, again, as a singular blog has had unexpected positive influence on all of our work. It is really humbling to think of the many artists who have benefited from Women Painting Women. Recently, I had an artist tell me that Women Painting Women changed her life, that before the association with Women Painting Women, she was quite literally applying for food stamps, and that now, today, she is represented by several premier galleries across the country and is able to live off of her art. Never more than now has the idiom, "a rising tide lifts all boats," been more evident to me. As more and more women artists gain deserved attention, we all benefit. The wealth of our collective vision is ever expanding, broadening how we see and represent ourselves. In turn, our culture is richer for this unsilenced voice. Thank you.